All right. Greetings, everyone. It's showtime. This is a special edition of Fancy Fridays. So thank you for joining us. Like you could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. Y'all know about that. Y'all know where that's
That's
from.
Jay-Z too.
Yeah, I
Okay.
just say y'all don't know about that. That's from ours. So I knew Tanisa will go laugh. But yeah, we appreciate and I'm so thankful that you guys are here today to join us. My name is Rashida. I'm a member of the board and also just, Southeast born and raised and long-term community advocate. So I'm very excited to be here today and hosting and co-facilitating this. Um, do you guys, Tanisa, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure, I'm Tanisa Kunright, the founder and executive director of DETOUR Empowers and Fancy Teen Girls Leadership Academy. So welcome everybody.
Yes. And so we did this. So just to go back a little bit, this came about as Tanisa did a fundraiser for her birthday. And, she's very giving and loving individual and always want to empower youth. And so we talked and like, oh yeah, we can do this. She wants to support. And then as us talking and we're both, adventuresome and love doing stuff. So it turned into a whole little retreat. So we are really happy to be here. But we wanted to just support teams with an existing business or those looking to start up a business. Just to get the opportunity to get yourself started, because sometimes we can just not say shortchange ourselves, but we can just not get started. We can procrastinate. We can, come up with all sorts of reasons why. And, so we just wanted to give that extra little boost and encouragement of to young people and even adults. I know there are some adults here today, but all the information is good, but we want to empower some young people to really, just have that start. And, a little goes a long way. I was just watching this show. I don't really get to watch TV much, but there's a show called Undercover Billionaire. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
Yes, I just watched it like two nights ago.
Yeah, and it's like people going places and they starting stuff off $100, like $100, 90 days, they about to get a meal. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's all about your mind and where you are. So we want to plant those seeds, has anybody seen that show?
Other than me.
Right. Other than us. Well, go look that up. We don't quarantine. I don't like to say quarantine, but we're sheltering in place. So you should have some time on your hands to go ahead and check that out. Jayla, you want to introduce yourself?
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Jalen Woods. I'm part of the Ambassador Internship Program, and I'm a college student. This is my sophomore year, and I've been a part of Fancy for as long as I can remember, so it's helped me get to where I am today.
All right, Jalen.
Right.
That's lovely to hear. And then Miss Lakeisha, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Lakeisha Lindsay, and I'm program manager for Fancy Programs, and basically just kind of make sure all the logistics are taken care of behind the scenes. So welcome. Thank you so much for joining, and I hope you guys enjoy it.
Yes. And so also today was just the not formal. Like we want to give some information and let you all enjoy listening to our speakers and, just provide a safe space, because I know Zoom fatigue is very real and I'm sure we are all experiencing it. The PowerPoints, got to be on here with the headphones and all that stuff. So this is just a relaxed, safe space to connect and get some information. We're gonna use the chat. If you have questions like during, you can put it in the chat and we're going to try to make sure we address them. And that's about it. So grab your pen and pad to grab or capture anything that you may, want to write down, because there's going to be some good little jewels dropped. And then so you can do some further research. So just to give us an idea of who's here, we want to, can you go ahead and not say introduce yourself, but just, Jalen, did you want to ask him a question?
Yeah. How about you guys all put in the chat how your week went, and your name.
Or if you want to say it out loud, feel free to say it out loud.
Yes,
because that works
that would be
too.
great. And if you want to turn your cameras on, that would be even better.
That'd be like the
Yes.
extra credit, you know?
That'll be exactly the extra credit, the extra kudos, especially if you're applying to get the grade. We want to see faces. It's like, because even in the classrooms, like when I'm in the class, it's like, where are you guys at? Like, let me see you guys, because we can't make you turn on the camera in school. But it's like, you don't know, this self-isolation is like, you know, it's rough. So seeing you all's beautiful faces, it's like, oh, people, that's
yeah.
happy, you know. So yeah. So okay, let's get this chat popping. Get our chat
Yeah.
popping.
So your name and how your week went.
I can introduce myself vocally.
Yeah.
Oh,
hit
that's
it,
even
girl.
better. Hey. Okay.
Also, I just want to say my internet has been crazy today. So if I have to turn my camera off, it's not just because I don't want you to see me. It's because y'all are super glitching.
Okay.
But my name is Naya Shanley. It's put as Naya Yvonne because that's my middle name. And my week was very eventful.
Okay.
What happened?
Okay. Well, that's good. Did anybody else want to share vocally?
I will.
Hey, Miss Debbie.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you? Happy New Year.
New Year's to you too and you all. My name is Deborah, and my week has been very great. I feel very blessed. So my year is starting off with a lot of good news, and I'm just very excited and happy to get it going.
Nice. Nice. Welcome.
In the chat, we have Rania. Sorry if I said your name wrong, but and she said her week was good.
Or is it Raina?
Raina, that could be it.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
Yeah. And it says Elijah, calm, okay, busy. It's Amari, from school, but good. That's great. And we're gonna go ahead and get started. So thank you guys who did participate in the introductions, because it's just always nice to know, you know, who you're with, who you're talking to. You know, this is, like I say, this is a safe space. And the purpose of this is to just provide a space for teen entrepreneurs, share your story, learn about resources to be successful, and just be inspired by other women entrepreneurs, and know, you know, we've been where you are, and it's just about moving forward and focusing. So a little bit about myself. Oh, let me see.
we got a couple more. Yeah.
Yes. There you go. Miss T. Yeah, I love being productive. That's good.
And then Jordan says her week was long.
Yes. I'm so happy it's Friday. I'm so happy it's Friday. Like, my days, first of all, I'm like, I don't usually know what day of the week it is, but I'm like, oh, I was looking forward to this. It's Friday, you know. Woo-hoo. Here we are. So just a little bit about myself. My name is Rashida, and I'm a board member with Fancy from back in our days of being in the rec. So I've been around for a while. I do have an administrative consulting business, but I also run a wellness center at Lincoln and Morris High School, and I'm into urban agriculture and also real estate development. So I have a couple of things that I have going on in Southeast, but born and raised Southeast. I've been exposed to various businesses growing up. My dad had a recording studio, so I used to like run their board meetings when I'm like 13, 14. My first real job was with the summer lunch program. I don't know if you guys remember back in the day, and even now, like how you guys get the free food from schools, but back in the day, it used to be at the rec during the summertime. And my godparents ran the program. And so a lot of my friends and I, we got our first jobs, 14 years old, you know, running the programs at the rec. So I've always had just a experience in doing certain things, and that's what helped develop my drive. And I was also a part of a program called Kids Copy, and we used to run the copy center, and then we would go out and intern at different small businesses throughout Southeast. So that is where I got the bug to, you know, just to be on my hustle. And everybody who knows me, it's like I'm always on my hustle. I'm doing something, but it's just to be moving forward and be productive, because I feel like an idle mind is not good. And it's very, my goal is to be financially free, and having several streams of revenue or income is important. So that's
Yes,
how I got
ma'am.
my start. That's how I got my start. And I always took on, my dad used to promote concerts. And so my first like marketing street team promotion experience was going out, and my job was to put all the flyers on the car. So before there was like Instagram and you know how you guys have it now, back in the day, it used to be boom, I have a big stack of flyers and I'll be about 15, 16 years old and going out and putting the flyers on the wherever we would be, you know. So that was a form, and I just kind of always took steps there. And when I went to
Where's
college,
Joshlyn at?
she'll be here. She'll be here. She'll be here.
I'm sorry. I didn't know I took myself off mute.
Right.
Please mute. Yeah, I'm about to say, please mute. If
I'm
you're
sorry,
not
Rashida.
talking, mute.
I love
Shonda,
you.
love you too. I miss you. Thank you.
I miss you too.
But yeah, so it's like, I started when I went to college. I went to Cal State Dominguez Hills, and my brother had a record label, and I used to promote parties. That was always a good side hustle. Like I used to do parties, and it was just, that was cool. And so then I started getting different jobs with meeting people, because a lot of things are about networking and who you know. So I started working in the entertainment business, and I started working on films and movies and all that, music videos and stuff. And I was a production coordinator, but I started off as a production assistant, and then I started as like being a producer, and I started my own casting company, and I was like the person who put all the girls and guys in the videos, and you know, just started working my way from there. But then I was in a real bad car accident in 2004, and I kind of still, a lot of people depended on me, and I had to figure out how I was still going to service them. And so that's how I started my administrative consulting business. So I provide support and do things for people, making sure their businesses are set up correctly, running properly. And I've always just been successful based on like word of mouth. I've never had to really truly market it, because I just kind of felt a niche. So that's just a little bit about me. So today I just wanted to talk about, you know, what's your motivation? Like, we're just going to go over some business basics and just really, really brief, real general. And then if you want some more information, please definitely reach out. You'll know how to get in touch with me. You know how to get in touch with me after this, but we'll have your information and we'll send out some stuff. So, you know, you want to look at, what is your motivation? Why are you wanting to start a business? What is the purpose? You know, because sometimes, especially nowadays, and I'm not going to come for young people, but it's like, we're in a generation of where things look a certain way on Instagram, Facebook, you know, Snapchat, but then, you know, what's actually happening in reality may be a little bit different. But so I'm talking about things that are actually going on, like business wise, to really be successful as a business, not just to make it look good. So we want to make sure you have a right foundation. So you really want to ask yourself, what is your motivation, and like why you're doing it, and be honest with yourself. Sometimes it's okay to, you know, not know what your motivation is, but you want to always get to that source. It's like, why am I doing this? Because you want to be intentional. A lot of things in life is about being intentional, and success depends on that. Like if you're doing something and you know it's faulty and you really shouldn't be doing it, then, you know, it could be it can go left field, but you just want to be intentional on your reasonings and why. So I know for me, I started the business because it was something that I really wanted to do, and I needed to like fulfill a gap for why, like me not being able to go out like I used to. So that's one thing. Also, when you're starting, you want to make sure you do your research, because doing things on a whim and a fly is just not, it's just not good. It's not good at all. You want to do your market research and make sure you know what you're getting into. There's many resources that are available to you to ensure that you have a great marketing plan, and you research. You can't do enough research, because even still, if you just like, oh, I'm gonna just do this, and then you just start doing it, and then what can happen? So many things can go wrong, and it's just better to plan and have a idea of what you're doing versus having yourself be all over the place. So doing your research helps you have a guide and stay focused on what your point and what your goal is. And then also a part of that research, you want to have a proof of concept. And a proof of concept is knowing that something is going to work. Like right now, I have a business that I'm starting, but I've been doing my research on proof of concept for the past like 8 months, because I need to know and make sure, you know, that it's going to be a good thing. And sometimes people are like, oh, you need to do this. And it's just like, nah, like I got a plan of what I'm doing. And I want to make sure that the proof of concept, it's a good one and my margins are right. So, you know, you just want to, slow and steady is one of my favorite slogans. You want to be prepared.
Miss Rashida, what's a margin?
So I'm going to address what a margin is in just a second.
Okay.
That's my leeway.
Right.
So yeah, I'm going to talk about what a margin is just shortly. But in short, that's going to be about my profits, like what I'm gaining or what I'm losing. So the research and proof of concept, it may be a longer time. And I know that we live in an age of instant gratification. Entrepreneurship is not about instant gratification. And so that's why I said you got to ask yourself, why are you doing this? Because if you're doing it just to make yourself look good on the gram, you might want to revisit that. And that's just keeping it 100, you know? So like I said, I'm doing business stuff because I'm working towards financial freedom, and freedom can mean many things, but so I can move about how I need to, wake up when I need to, you know, be on the beach with my laptop, running a business. That's where I'm doing the things. And so I can live later in life, be great. So now the next thing I want to talk about is legal and physical responsibility. So what that means is when you're starting your business, you need to know what type of business are you starting. The most popular types of businesses are a sole proprietorship, an LLC, a corporation, which could be like a C or S corp, but we're not going to go all into details. You can have a corporation, or you can have a nonprofit as well, or you can have a limited liability like a partnership. So you want to make sure that you have your foundation of how you're starting correctly. Most of you can be okay doing a sole proprietorship, meaning you're just an independent person, you know, running the business. But then if you, based on liability, like you should, you know, maybe structure a different way to protect yourself, so that if somebody tries to sue you, that you don't have personal responsibility for that, you know, for whatever it may be. So for example, my administrative consulting business is a sole proprietorship. I don't have a lot of liability because it's just paperwork, and it's nothing much that I would get, you know, sued for. But then my food service or wellness business, where I'm serving products or different things, I'm going to have a LLC or a corporation, so that it's not anything attached to me personally. And I'm going to give you some more resources to find out more about that. Is anyone here like already started, want to share what type of business they have? Like sole proprietors, LLCs.
And even if you don't know that and you started a business, just tell us about the business that you started.
I can go.
Yes, Miss Sierra.
Okay, so I just recently started my nail business.
Okay.
A couple weeks ago. So yeah, it's going super good. Like
yeah. Yeah.
So tell us more about the business. What type of nail business? Like, are you doing nails? Are you selling polish? Are you like what? Tell us more about it.
Yeah, so I'm doing nails. So I do acrylics, I do overlays, I do all that type of stuff. Yeah, I do.
Okay. Now, are you doing pedicures? Because I'm in need.
Look.
I don't really like feet like that.
No, but her mother is.
We need to know. Okay.
Listen,
Okay.
she's specializing in nails, but her mother is specializing in pedicures.
My
right?
mother is licensed. I don't specialize in them, but I will help out.
Yes. And so see, and so this is a great example. Thank you for sharing that, because that's amazing. And you are fulfilling a niche, because there are not many nail technicians that look like us, okay, that are not melanated. So that is definitely a niche. And then also I see you put in the post, you know, a lot of shops are not open right now. So yes, you're doing it kind of underground, but then you also want to know about your licensing and stuff that you got to have in regards to being like a licensed cosmetologist. But it's great. I think it's so amazing that you're doing that, because there's a need. And right now, this time of COVID, you're seeing, you know, what businesses are thriving and working, and then where there are gaps. So you definitely, you know, want to look at that. And that's a part of doing the research and doing your homework. Now, back to what I was saying in regards to fiscal responsibility. Now, when you do start let's say a LLC, you have to maintain certain corporate calendars. There's certain things that you have to do in regards to paying your taxes and all that. So you want to make sure that you know what you're going to have coming up, so that you don't get behind, because you don't want to make them people mad. You do not want to make the franchise tax board mad, and you don't want to make the IRS mad. Okay. I have had clients where I'm helping them set up their business, and I give full disclosure. Hey, when you're setting up this corporation, or let's say LLC, you're going to have this tax that's going to be due, in a certain amount of time. And it's about 90 days, I want to say, or 4 months after your startup time. But if you don't pay that, and then you keep it on doing business, and they'll get you, because everything is electronic and stuff right now. And they can attack your like Cash App or your PayPal, however you're receiving those funds, they will intercept them. Because please believe, when you register your business on these apps and stuff, they do track, how much money you have coming in, and they report it. So once you're, making over a certain amount, it is reported. And so that's why you got to make sure you have that aligned, and what you need to be doing and paying that. And again, we can break out talk about that like for a long time, but I can also get you connected to some resources that are available to make sure your taxes and all that is set up. So it's a difference in when you're doing a business versus when you're doing like your little side hustle, and just it's not a official business. But we want to encourage and get everyone set up to be doing it officially, so there's no issues later on down the line. Okay. Any questions so far?
Or anybody else want to tell us about their business?
And even if you haven't started it, whatever you're thinking about starting, we'd like to hear that too.
Yeah. Yeah, put it in the chat. There's a lot of things. There's like so much opportunity right now. Right. There's no better time than to be starting a business right now, because people are at home, they need stuff to do, shopping, and all of that. So back to addressing the margins. So when you're starting your business, you want to, that you're starting, you're getting your legal stuff, everything set up of how you're supposed to be. You want to start your business plan, and your business plan is going to be your model. That is going to be like your baby. That's going to be your Bible, your Quran, your Surah. That's going to be your lifeline, because you want to know what you're doing, how you're going to do it, and what's going to be the outcome. And that's going to be a place where you could put your financial projections, so that you can assume or guesstimate what your margins may be. And so your margins can be a profit, or it's going to be your loss, and you're going to look at what you can make. So like, let's say, for example, I have a product, I'm getting this water, right? And if I get this water for $1, right, and then I'm like, okay, I'm going to sell this for $5. What's the profit margin on that? Can anybody tell me?
Give us the example one more time.
So I bought this for $1, and then I'm going to resell it for $5. Come on, light me up in the chat. Light me up in the chat. Huh? What'd you say, Sierra? Yeah, so that's a $4 profit, right? So that's a positive thing if I sell it. Now, if I don't sell it and I have all these waters, that can be a loss, you know, like that's going to be not beneficial, and that's going to be a not so good profit, you know. So that's a example of how to gauge, you know, what your profit margins and stuff are going to be. But like I said, we're keeping it surface level today, and just, you know, having the conversation of knowing, you know, what all goes into running a business. But then when you have products and stuff, you want to do that for your entire business. You know, you want to look at, is this going to be an overall, you know, profitable business? Because you don't want to just be doing it for the sake of, oh yeah, I got a business. No, the purpose of having a business is to make profits. Not, but I mean, but for some people it's not. But we're talking about being a profitable real business, not playing business just for taking pictures on Instagram and getting followers and all that. So you want to really look at your profits and potential profits, and that's will come about in a business plan. So if anyone is in need of support making a business plan, please let us know and we will get you connected, because there are so many great resources, especially right now. There's so many great resources for those starting businesses. Okay. Next, now I know we've heard a couple of people's story, but when you're developing your business and stuff, you want to know like what your story is and what you're going to tell people, you know, because when you that's that like the elevator pitch. Why are you doing it? Does everybody know what an elevator pitch is? I'm like, I won't assume. So that's just a quick statement of like very, 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 very short, brief synopsis of, you know, what you're doing, why you're doing it, and how, and kind of like in who you are. But so you want to be able to pull out, you know, what your story is and why you're doing it. And then you want to always come up with some business goals. And those are things that you can start in with your business plan. So the next thing that's important is marketing and promotion. And we have someone that's going to talk about that, which is really great. And I'm just so excited to be here. I'm just really excited about this, because this is like, I love people trying to start their business and get going, but you want to know the next thing that's in regards to businesses is marketing and promotion, right? And how you're going to finance your business. That's another thing. So you want to make sure your coins are together. Don't, you know, just assume that, oh, I can do this, but know what it's going to actually take. That we'll get into more details of that. Now, do we have any more? Oh, let me see in the chat. I'm starting to sell a phone. Okay. That's a good one. Phone cases and shirts. That is awesome. Ivy, I would say get some. I'll get a case from you too, making sure that they're super durable, because a lot of these phone cases are no good. So I would love to be able to support that. So that's a need. And see here in the chat, my sister and I have a business called Jane and we make custom trays. Okay, and poster boards. Okay, now I love that. That's a really nice array of things. So now, any more questions or anything coming up, as we're gonna transition. So just to wrap up, you know, when you're starting a business, you want to know your motivation, why you're doing it, how you're going to do it, research and do your proof of concept of, you know, why and how. Then we're going to, you know, be legally and physically responsible, you know, ensuring we set up correctly. And we're going to look at our finances and how we're going to, you know, start the business and fund the business. And then know your story and your goals as a part of your business plan. And then you want to have your marketing and promotion together. So there are people available, and I am more than welcome to get you connected and get you going in the right direction. So Tanisa, is she there? I was gonna say
yes, I'm here.
Okay. So just real quick, that's just that's wrapping it up. So just real quick to review what we're gonna actually be doing as far as the grant goes. If you apply, when you registered for the this today, that you should, if you selected yes, that you wanted to apply for the $250 grant, you should have received an email that has the application for you to apply. So please make sure you do that. You're going to have until next Friday to complete it, but the sooner the better. So if you did not check yes and you want to apply for the $250, please send a message, a direct message, or just post it in the chat and post your email, and we'll make sure that you get the actual application. And then, Tanisha, did you want to say anything else about
that?
The
No,
grant opportunity?
No, you kind of touched on it earlier. Entrepreneurship is definitely something that's near and dear to my heart. I'll speak on it, my journey, a little bit later. But I want you all to know that you have a community of support to guide you through the process. It's definitely easier now, today, in 2021, to launch a business than it was back in the day when we were launching, such as Rashida mentioned before. So not only are we providing the grant opportunity of $250 for those who apply and are eligible, we also want you to know that we are here as a resource should you need someone to talk to, or should you need to get connected to additional resources in order to grow your business.
Okay, thank you.
And I'll go ahead and touch on,
I was going to say,
advocate college. We advocate college. I have a degree. Rashida has a degree. Like we've all gone to college, and I'm going to continue to advocate college. But what I also want you to know is a business can help you make it through college. I attended SDSU, and when I was attending SDSU, I ran multiple small businesses on the side, from bookkeeping to Uber. Before Uber existed, I was taking my friends to work because I had a car, they didn't have a car, so they would pay me to take them to work. Babysitting, a bunch of small little hustles got us through college as well. So never feel like you have to do one or the other. Like, oh, I have to go to college, or I'm going to be an entrepreneur, or I'm going to go to the military. You can have some both, some ands. You just focus on what works best for you and make it your journey. Don't feel like you have to follow a particular template that someone has laid out for you.
Yes, exactly. And something to just piggyback on. Yes, college is great, because college, it was like I was at college like on my hustle, and that did help. So I'm definitely an advocate for education, because you leverage relationships at college. That's when you meet and you network with different people, and it's just a great thing. And you can go to college and major in business, and that's the sky is really the limit. So yes, we are definitely advocates for education, and also apprenticeships. It's just being an entrepreneur, it just is you're a special person. You're definitely a special person. So yeah, if you need the application, please type your email in the chat. And thank you again for being here with us. We're gonna get ready to we're a little bit ahead of schedule, which is good, because we were just allotting for time in case things went over. Now, do we have any questions? Or anyone that just kind of wants to share about anything that you just heard or anything?
Can you touch? Sorry, is it okay?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we hear you.
Could you touch more on like LLC versus a sole?
Okay, so yeah, so I'll say, and when you say touch on it, you're saying like just explain it a little bit more. So okay, so a limited liability company, like I say, is just you're not versus a sole proprietor. So a sole proprietor is you're the individual doing business and there's no one else, you know, involved. An LLC is you're going to have members who that are responsible, you know, for the LLC, and you're not going to have any personal liability with it. So you have to form with the state of California. So you're going to fill out this document, use a service like mine or Danielle's, who'll be speaking later, or even like LegalZoom, which is really comfortable, or NOLO. And they fill out this form for you that you have to document, you know, who the members are, who's like a registered agent for you, and then you submit that and you file it with the state of California. So it's just about how that's your formation. So LLCs are good, but there's still also personal tax liabilities when forming an LLC. So it also, there's just some certain things that you need to look at in determining, you know, which type of business structure you're going to go for. And I'm definitely happy to talk with you more offline if you need to know, you know, which structure is best for you. And yeah, hopefully that answers.
And an LLC in California, there's an annual tax of $800. So keep that in mind.
So, yes, and that's like one of those things I was talking about. So as soon as you form, boom, they stamp your paper, you official like a whistle, but then boom, in another 4 months, you got to drop them 800 just based on like they're guessing. And that's another thing, guys. That's a whole nother, that's another conversation. I don't want to go down a path because a lot of things are being infringed upon on us, but they, you know, assume how much money you're going to make, and you got to drop them for you got to drop them $800 in 4 months. Mm-hmm. And if you don't, then they're going to freeze your stuff. And I'll give you an example. I had a client who, I ain't gonna pay, I'm gonna just do whatever, not say nothing, not anything. And then they were making money. Okay, they started making bank. They're making t-shirts. And
wait a minute, how much is bank? How much is making?
So making bank for just what they were doing.
Yes.
I would say they were making about $10,000 a month.
Okay, thank you.
So that's good money off of a side hustle.
Right.
And they're making about $10,000 a month, right? And not wanting to be physically, like not wanting to be responsible, because that's also a part of, hey, I'm gonna tell you what you need to do, but I'm not gonna hold your hand because you have to be responsible as a business owner. But anyway, so they did this for 2 years, you know, not paying. And then they got a hold put on, you know, their stuff because they were not following suit and like filing. There's different filings that you have to do. And then that PayPal, once it was reported and like they weren't filing their taxes, and they ended up having to pay back a lot of money. They ended up having to have about a over $60,000 tax bill for not, you know, being compliant. So it's like, it's just better to do what's right in the first place, you know, versus even even though you can get on a payment plan to pay it back and all that, but it's just easier to have your stuff set up in the right way and having the right people to ensure that you're successful, because that's another thing that happens with entrepreneurs and even for myself. So a lot of people say like, oh, why don't you like advertise or whatever? And I'm like, well, you know what? Because I really don't deal with what I say like solopreneurs, because there's a difference in a solopreneur and an entrepreneur. And a solopreneur is a person who like is doing everything themselves, and the business can't run if they're not the one doing it. That's not like, I don't want to say that's not an entrepreneurship, because you can make money, but that's exhaustive. And it's better to have a business to where it can run if you're not there. Because like I was saying, my goal is to be financially free and have freedom to move about how I need to. And if my business is totally dependent upon me, then I can't really take no break. So that's not going to work for me, you know, but for some people that keeps them busy and they need that and they want that. So I definitely don't knock that, but you're not maximizing your full potential with being an entrepreneur if you're just solely 100% dependent upon yourself to run your business, you know. So you want to just equip the right people. You're going to have your right tax person. You're going to have your right bookkeeper. You're going to have your right like accountant. Even you want to have your right legal person on deck. You want to have all the right things to make sure that you're successful. And then you're staffing, so it's like, it's okay. And it takes money to make money too. So you got to be willing to give it up to, increase your profits.
Right.
Kiana, you have your hand raised?
And then Danielle said they're
Yes, I have
waiving
my
the
hand
tax.
raised.
Danielle said they're
real
waiving the
quick.
tax for the first year this year.
Say it again.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, Danielle said they're waiving the tax for the first year this year.
Oh yeah. See, listen, that's another reason. That's one of those nuggets right now, starting a business during the corona. Let this Rona, be beneficial, because it is a rough time, but it's a time for us to be still and be clear and move intentionally.
Right.
Okay. So Kiana, question real quick, because then we're going to be ready for our speaker.
Yes. So when you might have I'm at work. That's why I'm like kind of listening in and out. For a sole proprietorship, do you have to pay any taxes or fees for that, like you do for the LLC?
So yes, but not like that much. So you're gonna pay, yeah. It's very minimal. The cost of starting a sole proprietorship is very minimal, because it's a matter of just registering the name down at the county building, and that's like, I want to say it's $37. Last I checked, I don't know if that's anything has changed, right, but it's about $37. And then you, depending on what type of business you're doing, because you want to make sure you have your license, then you're going to pay a business license fee through the city if you're operating in the city. So it's really like, you can start the business less than $100. Like, definitely you can start the business and be up and rolling and gone, because you got to file something in the newspaper, and that's like about $25, I'm thinking. Yeah. So, so it's not as much. So it's super easy to start a sole proprietorship. And at minimum, you should start with as a sole proprietor, because then you can always file a form and become a LLC or a corporation or a nonprofit later on down the line, once you have money rolling in.
And so you could start as a sole proprietor. I'm just trying to make sure I understand. You could start as a sole proprietor, but you won't be able to, like, if I want to say hire my friend or whatever, that would change the business plan that I have.
No,
it won't be a sole proprietorship.
Oh yeah, no, you can still hire, because what will happen is, when you're a sole proprietor, you're going to get an EIN, which is an employer identification number with the IRS. And so you're going to have an EIN number, and you're going to be able to have employees. You can have an employee, or like for me with my sole proprietorship, I don't have any employees, but I do have independent contractors that I work with. But you can have employees as a sole proprietor.
Okay.
Okay, and then you file your taxes with your personal taxes, and you just it's a form that you fill out that's connected to your
personal taxes, and then you want to keep track of all of your expenses.
Yes, because and that's the other piece that I didn't touch on, but I wanted to, is the finances. But with the banking, you want to always make sure you have a business banking account, and that you're separating, so that you're not commingling funds, because that's that you don't want to be doing that. But so Ivy says a good amount of employees for a small business. It just depends. It depends on what you're doing. I know some small businesses who have 2 employees and they're functional. I know some small businesses who have up to 450 employees, because a small business can have under 500 employees and be a small business. So it just depends on what your operations are. Okay. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and get ready to introduce our first speaker, because I'm really, I'm so excited and just happy for all the speakers that are here today. A couple of them were not able to make it, but I always just say everything happens in divine time and how it should, and it unfolds, and everybody is where they need to be, so I'm so happy and so grateful for this speaker coming up, because she is just an amazing person, and always been clear about what she wants to do. And it's like what I call the recipe and the formula to success. So everybody here today has their own formula to success. And that's why they were invited to be here to share the story and to encourage you all, because you can do anything you put your mind to, like on everything. You put your mind to it and you truly believe and you co-create with your higher power, like you can do it. So everyone here has a mission to speak and share. And Chatney, are you ready to go for us? Okay, yes. Okay, I'll go ahead and unmute. So thank you, look, and she at the salon. So that thing right there in the background that you see, look, lean over to the left, chat. So lean up. You see that signature studio? That is her place of business. That's her shop. Okay, yes. Take your take mute off.
Uh-oh, hello?
Yeah, there you go.
I'm sorry, you guys work with me a little bit. I'm new to the Zoom game, so I am really trying here, but
yes, and we appreciate it. And we appreciate it. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. And that's also about being flexible. Being an entrepreneur, you got to be flexible and you roll with it. You roll with it. But yes, she's there in her shop. She's coming to us live from Signature.
Hi, you guys. I am Chatney Dawson. I am the owner of Signature Hair Studio. I've been a licensed cosmetologist for 21 years in March. It's something that I was born to do, something that I knew I was going to be doing all my life. Even Rashida, she used to, and we was 11, 12 years old doing her hair in my room at home. And that's something that I knew I wanted to do as a child and as an adult. And so right after high school, I went straight to cosmetology school. And what happens is when we decide to be entrepreneurs and work for ourselves, what people have to understand is a passion that comes with it. It's not about, oh, she's doing it or he's doing it. What is your God-given talent? What is in your heart and in your soul to do for yourself and not anybody else? And so I was a girl that I didn't go outside and play like everybody else. At 11 years old, I started making money in my room doing hair. I started buying my own school clothes at 12 years old. I bought my own first cars and, all those things because I was in my room doing hair. I would have Patrick Henry, Helix, Mount Miguel, Lincoln, all in one room for dances at one time. So with that being said, because I did it so long and it was in me, I was like, you know what, one day I'm going to have my own salon. I'm not going to just be working at someone else's salon for the rest of my life, especially coming from a family where, my parents were mostly producers. My mom and my dad had their own businesses. So, it was in us to work for ourselves anyway. So after doing hair in a couple of salons, I decided, you know what, I want to open up my own salon. So at first I did business with my sister. It didn't really, that was okay. But then I realized, hey, I'm going to do it for myself. So long story short, I, went to school for phlebotomy. In 2008, I'm a licensed phlebotomist as well. And to be honest with you, I knew for the vision and the type of salon I wanted, I had to save up money to put myself, like she said earlier, you have to go into it knowing what you want to do, how much money, what is it going to take? So I worked my 9 to 5, even though I was an entrepreneur, I was a hustler. So guess what? 9 to 5, my own thing, it didn't matter. I was going to get it regardless. So, I was doing phlebotomy. So if you guys don't know what that means, it's sticking people with the needles in the hospital. I'm the one, the vampire. So I did that since 2008. So guess what? I was saving. And because I did that, I was able to open up my own salon without having to do it with any family member or anything, just doing it myself, because I was like, you know what? This is my dream. And I felt like when anybody else was involved, my dream didn't go the way it was supposed to. So 10 years later, I'm still here. I'm here in the city of Lemon Grove. My salon is, I've redone it many of times. I've had numerous of stylists come in and out, great, beautiful stylists come in and out my salon, which is part of having that, like she was saying, as a sole proprietorship that I am, you can have employees, which mine are independent contractors. So it's fairly easy when you have a business with other independent contractors because they decide what they want to do as well. You know what I mean? So with that being said, I was the medical field, I was doing the 9 to 5, coming in, knocking out weaves, doing that, going home. I have a husband, I had a son, you know, my son's 13 now. He was a young boy at the time. It didn't stop anything. He was a baby. I was hustling, coming in and coming out. So then it was like, you know, hey, I get, you know, now that I'm 40, I'm at that point in my career where it's like, hey, I want to work for myself. I want to still work for myself, but I want to work a little smarter and not harder. You know, I want to now be able, like she said, my salon can run even if I'm not here, because, you know, like it's independent contractors that can run it. But now I decided to take my career to another level, but on another career path. When you start learning to make your money work for you, your understanding in life becomes different. For example, last year I bought a house, and I used it for my Airbnb. I started a whole nother business. And with the Airbnb, you know, people come, and then, you know, it's just making money while you're sleeping, pretty much, you know. It was something my sister inspired me to do. She does it in Virginia. She has 3 of them. So I said, hey, you know, I've been doing hair all this time. I've been, you know, let me go ahead and take this, you know, as I'm getting older, like I said, to work smarter, not harder. Because, hey, who don't want to make money while they're sleeping, right? I mean, I've been working all my life. I deserve it. Like, I deserve it. And so, you know, this was my time to say, hey, you know what, let me try this. And it's been going really well. I've been having an Airbnb business for the last year. It's been very successful. Even during the pandemic, it was stayed booked. It was very, very, I got a lot of great reviews. I became super host. I put 110% into it. So, I mean, anything that you do that you put effort in, you will definitely see it come back. The result of it is beautiful. What you don't put in, you'll see that you didn't put in. What you do put in, you'll see that you did put in. So, with that being said, you know, as a Black woman doing that, it feels really good to know that, hey, starting from someone from their own, you know, just, you know, investing in myself, into my salon, and just, you know, making a way to now, you know, open up new doors to understand how money is made, and how to, you know, keep money and not just make money, manage money, and do things to, you know, keep the business afloat, you know. So with that being said, I tell all my young clients, and even young girls, everybody, like, you could do anything that you put your mind to. You have to walk by faith and not by sight. I think a lot of people, they think business and they get scared. Oh my God, paperwork. Like she said, a sole proprietorship, $100 or less, you open up a whole establishment. All you gotta do is find your location. All you gotta do is just literally find your location, do the paperwork, get your business license, establish your license, you're done. Like, it's that easy. It's just about doing it. So many people are afraid of that. So never be afraid don't look at what your friends are doing. That's another thing. You have to really focus on self. Entrepreneurship is that's the whole point of it, is self. So anything that you do yourself, can't nobody blame you for. Can't nobody say you messed up on. Me personally, I don't like middlemen. You know what I mean? I prefer to do things by myself, just because I'm very focus on what I want, and it's kind of hard. I might get a little upset somebody not doing it my way, so I choose to do it by myself. So yeah, so I just really want you guys to understand that start your businesses, do your businesses, don't give up on anything. You know, I'm working on getting more Airbnbs at this point in my life, because I realized I like waking up and just seeing money in my account, and I didn't have to work hard for it. You know what I mean? So you'll get to that point in your life where you'll be able to do anything you want to do. So I'm glad I can come over here and share my story, just about what I've been through. And hopefully I can encourage or inspire, you know, someone today to just take that leap of faith. Walk by faith and not by sight. I live by that. People are like, dang, Chatney, you didn't been through that. You didn't through that. That's something you still. I'm like, I walk by faith and not by sight. That's what God says do. And a lot of people don't take the first step. God say take the first step and I'll take the next. How many people do it though? So you have to understand, like, it's really a mental mind game. Everything is mental. You have to just do it, like literally. Literally. So yes,
seriously, thank you so much, Chatney, and it definitely is
very welcome.
Encouraging. Like, I appreciate it, because it's so true. Like, walking by faith and not by sight, because sometimes we lean on our own understanding, and that ain't necessarily right. That ain't that's not, like, even though it's like, oh no, this, and it's like, no, we can be a hindrance to yourself. You know, it's about, you know, getting out of your own way and making stuff happen, and really doing it, and you have that vision, you're clear about your vision, write it down, look up, you pray about it, meditate on it, and you let it go, and it's going to be good because you took that first step. It's going to appear.
Right.
We create our realities. So I'm so thankful that you're here. You guys go stop by, see her at the shop when things are safe and open. And I know she has some great things coming in regards to the Airbnb. Now, do we have any questions? Do we have any questions for her? We have a few minutes before our next speaker goes. Do we have any questions? They're saying thank you. And then also someone said that you used to do their hair.
Oh, hi.
Yeah. And so Ivy says, was there a time that you ever wanted to give up?
Oh my
God.
So
how did you cope with it?
Ooh, the blood of Jesus, Lord Jesus. I don't know what I would do without him. Like when I say this ball chills over me right now, have I want to give up? You're going to want to give up a lot, especially when you're doing it like what did you say? You actually taught me a new word when you said it was a solar
a soulpreneur. A soulpreneur.
A soulpreneur. You actually, I was like, okay. So I said, I guess I'm both then, because I be feeling like sometimes you have that it's intense. You know what I mean? Everything has to be done a certain way. You want to, especially when you're dealing with other people. Now, mind you that. Now, when you're doing it by yourself, it's different. But when you're dealing with other hairstylists and different things, I mean, of course, for the most part, but you know how it is. But other than that, yes, I mean, you want to give up, but you have to understand, that's when you tell yourself, is it worth me giving up for, or should I just go harder? You know what I mean? So sometimes when you get to that giving up point, that's your fuel to go harder.
Right. And also, because I know for myself too, when I get to those times of when I want to give up, then I'm like, oh, I got this business plan. I got this, my notes that I'm looking at on my vision board. So I go back to that. And that is a source of encouragement, but you cope because emotions are real, and you identify those emotions and why they're coming up for you. But then you keep pushing forward because it's not going to be easy. Anything that's easy is not, it ain't really worth having. You know what I'm saying?
No.
So it's just like, use that encouragement to just keep going, because the outcome is going to be good, regardless. Yeah. One day it's going to be, you're going to get to that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
And anything that lasts doesn't come easy. Just always know that anything that lasts does not come easy. I mean, that's what your everyday life, your relationships, your business, anything in life, anything that, that's going to be there for a long time you'll find it the more difficult that you'll go through. But you'll be fine. Trust me, you'll be fine. Keep the eyes on the prize.
Yes, definitely. Thank you. Yes. That was a great question, Ivy. That was a great question. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here and taking the time, because I know we all got these schedules to keep. So I thank
no problem. I'm glad that I could be here and share my story. And if any of you guys ever, I'm here at Signature in Lemon Grove. If you guys ever have any questions, if you guys ever want to, talk to me one-on-one, anything like that, I'm always welcome. I'm a very great, I'm a good person. I don't mind talking. I don't mind sharing. Like she said, business plans, anything that you may have, I'm definitely willing. I love to see people go and get it. I'm like a cheerful giver. Like God love a cheerful giver. Like when I see people want to do it for themselves and they're happy and they want to do it, it's makes me yeah, come on, let's go. Come on, let me do it for you. Come on, so.
Exactly. And it may not always be what you want to hear. It may not be always what you want to hear, but it's going to be what you need to hear to thrive, so that's what I like to say too. We're definitely going to be able to link those who want to get, some mentorship. We're going to be able to link them with you, and just keep that in mind too. When you do seek out help, people with experience, they're going to tell you they're going to tell you the real, and it just may not always be what you want to hear. And that's okay though. That's okay. Because we got to learn to be constructive listeners and learners, so thank you again. And so next up we have Lacey, who is another magnificent woman doing business. Here we go. Lacey, you all set to go?
Yes, I am. Hi, everybody. Right. I'm Lacy Williams. My journey from working a job to being my own business owner was one of a lot of hard roads, to be just frank and to be honest. I was never a strong student in school. I always kind of struggled with the classes, kind of like a B or C student. You know, I kind of just kept my grades up so I could play basketball. But, you know, for me, college kind of wasn't my thing. I tried it out, you know, and I was arching eyebrows in college. So I went to Cal State Northridge, and then I went to HBCU in Mississippi. And I felt that the best way, what I was getting from college was more customers for different things that I already did. So for me, my skill set always came from my hands. You know, I've always been kind of crafty and good with my hands, but, you know, I use my hands to make money. So there's a lot of different ways you can use your hands to make money. So for example, being a hairstylist, being a a specific hairstylist, like a natural hairstylist, and styling locks, twists, and sister locks. So that was one of my first businesses that I did, which I made good money. I always would have products that I sold along with doing the hair. So I would make my own oils. I would make my own scarves and headbands. You see that a lot now. I'm talking like 15, 20 years ago, but you see people making bonnets and satin scarves and things like that. Well, those are all viable businesses. And I had another business where things passed through my hands. So I was using my hands. Maybe I had 3 or 4 hair customers that I had that month that I twisted their locks. Now I have items and inventory that pass through my hands. So what does that look like? What does that mean? Well, you can go to any country where Black people live, which I've been to quite a few of them, and you will always see people selling, buying and selling. Sometimes that's not really a concept we have being here in America, just because Walmart is everywhere. You know, Rite Aid is everywhere. We don't think about, well, what if this store wasn't here and everything wasn't available? So I would start to buy lower cost items and then sell them for a higher cost. So I would use my hands to do hair, cook. I used to sell a lot of plates. I used to make juice, sell coconut water, all these things. Or I would use my hands in that way, or I would allow items to pass through my hands, and you know, just be a middleman. I'm just buying and I'm selling, and now I'm making a profit from using my hands, and I'm making a profit from items passing through my hands. The next way I would make money is to have my hand in someone else's project. And that comes with working collaboratively with other business owners. Because I'm a strong believer in you reap what you sow, and patronizing other Black women and other Black businesses, it brings a karma energy to you that now it will come back full circle. So I would have my hand in other people's businesses, whether it be a consultant, whether it be a life coach, whether it be a business advisor for different things that I've done. And a big part about that is knowing your worth and charging for your value. So just because you're a brand new business doesn't mean that you got it for the low price, or you have it for the free 99, or no. Charging what you're worth and knowing your value and putting a proper value on your services is extremely important. Another business I had working with using the word hand is hand-me-downs, okay? So another business I had was collecting shoes and clothes and toys and all these things from different friends and family. And right here in San Diego, we have the swap meet here. That's a great place to get your start at if you don't have a lot of experience selling, customer service, working with people, handling money, all of those things. You can sell used items in that way. Another way I would make money was hand to hand. Okay, so I would work, like I said before, working with people and handling all of my business all at once. and being grounded and knowing who you are is very important. I went to school. I didn't graduate from college of my first round, but I hated working for other people. I'm not a good worker when it comes to other people managing me. And I had to realize that about myself, because I felt like it's a better, faster way to do the same task. But, you know, being micromanaged didn't work for me. So I hated it so much that I went to nursing school. And when I went to nursing school in 2003, things just opened up for me, because similar to what Chatney mentioned about phlebotomy, now I have a trade. Now I have a trade that I can earn money that I can put into my own businesses. So I went from probably making maybe $25,000 as an entrepreneur before nursing to making $100,000 as an entrepreneur, and combined with the nursing income that gave me much more to invest in myself. So I went from selling items, selling food, doing hair, to having $1 million contracts through the government and through the state of California. And I would encourage anyone and all people, understand that there's a lot of times that I feel that my failures, okay, is what prepared me for my successes, for my wins. So you have to be persistent. I had my first shop on Adams Avenue as a medical retail store at 26 years old, and I did not make a dime. I did not make a nickel. I didn't make anything at all. But the experience of going through government paperwork, of getting knocked down, of trying again, of having all these different experiences is what prepared me to make to get $500,000 contracts. Right. So never think that what you're doing is in vain. Always keep valuable circles around you as far as the people that you are around. You want to be able for them to call on you and you call on them. If none of your friends are entrepreneurs, none of your associates are entrepreneurs, then you need some new friends and some new associates, because I learned a lot from my other friends who are also self-made millionaires. I learned so much from them, and I'm 39 years old, and this is a long journey. So it's not for the faint of heart. It's you definitely have to be persistent, and you definitely have to know what your own personal goals are. And doing a lot of research in the industry that you want to be in is important as well. You know, I'm from San Diego, and in the 80s, a lot of our parents had their own businesses. Many of our parents worked, and they also had a business. There was lots more Black-owned businesses in San Diego, all up and down in Canto on Imperial, and there was many Black-owned businesses. We go to the Canto Street Fair, and everybody's family was selling something. So we're getting back into that energy now, and it's time for us to look around. When you see maybe a Mexican guy and he has his ice cream, but you know, the kind that you push, realize that's a business. Realize he's making money. Realize he's a vendor. So understand that there's a lot of different ways to make money, and the best way for you may not be the best way for someone else, but just being able to see the opportunities in front of you as far as, hey, I can be an esthetician and do my own skincare line, or be a mobile lash, a person who does lashes mobile. If you want to, no matter what it is you want to get into, it's very possible. We have the #1 Black-owned vegan cookie shop in the United States right here in San Diego, California. And she started off only having about 20 orders a week. Now she has about 2,000 orders a week. So it's possible. And I just want to encourage everybody to follow your dreams and not to give up. And the last thing that I will say is, everybody will not see your vision. Your vision is not to be shared with everyone. If you feel that, you want to talk through it with someone, some of your business plans, I do recommend going to some of the more established Black business owners, but not necessarily people who maybe have never done what you're trying to do and telling you why it's not a good idea. Be careful with the older generation as far as them saying, get a good job and get you some benefits, and all those things are important, but the way that things are now is really changed from when you would work 20 years for the city of San Diego and get this great pension and all. It's a different dynamic now. So having different streams of income that you control is where it's at. And like I said, I just encourage everyone to watch the company you keep, understand your passion, and go for it. And don't let anything or anyone stop you.
Yes. Yes. Thank you so much. And just to kind of chime in real quick, because Lacey was very instrumental as well when I started my administrative business. And it was like we were young and figuring it out. And doing that, like with the medical supplies and understanding how Medicare and, all these things worked, and, her investing in the, paying for the applications to have the people come out and check and make sure we doing it. And then we wasn't doing it right. And it's so, dang, got paid another $1,500, but that like taught us, the ins and outs of doing that. And we were both leveraging our businesses and learning, so it's like, you got to have someone that you connect with that's like your business buddy. And then here we are, pushing 40, and it's good. And we've had several successful, multi six-figure contracts with the government. And who would have thought that, when we were on, 25, 26 years old, trying to have contracts, and we like, dang, this is negative. It's costing us more, and then with time and energy, but then no, it became a success thing. So you got to slow and steady, it wins the race, and you got to keep pushing forward. So thank you so much. Does anyone have any questions for Miss Lacey? All right. Okay. Well, if anything comes up, we'll do that again. And I know that we have our next speaker available. Thank you so much, Lacey, for sharing. Experience will help you along with making connections with like-minded people. Thank you, Jalen. I like that. So next up, we have another great woman, Southeast, born and raised and doing wonderful things, is Joshlyn, Queen of the Right Fit, all things the right fit, I should say. Joshlyn, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, thank you.
Hi.
Thank you for being here. We're going to just go ahead and have you share, just about your journey and how you got to where you are. And I know a lot of it, but I've like share with them, your motivators, what encouraged you, and how you keep going.
Oh, where do I start?
Yeah, girl. Start with going away to college or whatever. I don't know. Just start with when your vision started for you having a business. When did you first start having that vision?
That probably was later on in life. I didn't grow up feeling like, oh, I wanted to be this entrepreneur and start my own business. That really wasn't really my focus. When I was younger, I wanted to be a teacher, but I was always a creative. Like I always was good at writing. I was always good with wordplay. I was always good with coming up with things. And then as I got older and went to college, I graduated from Hampton University. I knew when I was younger that I wanted to go to a HBCU. That was something that I was very certain about. And so when I graduated, I majored in theater production and stage production. So that was my focus, which has always been a passion of mine, which that is something that I would definitely say has a huge responsibility on really my ability to operate and to execute. Those skills were transferable from my background in production, because when you work in stage production, you have like one time to get it right. And so you have to be very, very, very disciplined when you are working as a stage manager, production manager, et cetera. And so I was able to take those skills and apply them to everything that I did in every field. I did have a passion for social justice and for social services. And so in between gigs, when I moved back home to San Diego, I started working in the social service arena or career field. And in doing that, I was able to land a lot of relationships and also do a lot of work in the community. So while I was doing that work, I started my first company called The Right Fit, which is a lifestyle street brand, most notably known for Black Girls Got the Juice apparel. So when I started that company, I was actually living at home with my parents, had just got my first real like salary desk job at a nonprofit, and I was kind of figuring it out as I went. And so I always had, you know, a job or other work that I was doing, and not because I had to, it was more so because I wanted to. And I always felt like I could fulfill all of my desires. So if I felt like I wanted to, you know, be Superwoman, then I did whatever I can to be Superwoman. If I felt like in my mind, like I wanted to be a baker, then I'm the type of person that's going to do whatever it takes to be the best baker. And so I think it's important to have confidence. I think that I've gotten as far as I've gotten this far because of my confidence in knowing that if I work hard, I can achieve it. And so in doing all that, you know, I actually had stopped working at the job I was with I was there for a few years. And that kind of pushed me to kind of do more community work, but also kind of settle in, kind of digging a little bit deeper into things that I wanted to do or solutions that I wanted to, you know, come up with to problems that we were facing in our community. And then I came up with the idea to launch a smoothie and juice truck called The Right Juice, which I launched that in 2019. And when I did that, it was really a response to our community having the lack of healthy on-the-go options and resources. I found that majority of the time, especially in Southeast, we have, you know, taco shops, we have liquor stores, we have a lot of different things that just aren't healthy. When you go to other neighborhoods, you see, I mean, a vast amount of options. And so with food trucks being a trendy option or on-the-go option, I thought it'd be the best because I could, you know, go around the city. But most for certain, I would say my first priority was serving my community, which is why the mission of that company is blending health back into the community. COVID has definitely affected what business looked like. When I started that business, I mean, it really, really took off more than I had ever imagined. A lot of which happens with, you know, catering and school gigs and, you know, street fairs and all those different things that have been canceled because of COVID. So what I've been able to do is leverage my relationships and partnerships and networking with other Black-owned eateries. And I said, hey, you know, we should pair and partner together and bring the people, you know, to each other. So my people come there, their people come there. And it's actually been a really good response to have that support, which is why it's important to, you know, not only market to your people, but also support your people. And I think when people have a genuine love for you as a person and also your brand and what you're doing, then the blessings will come. And then last year, I started my third company called The Right Expressions, which is a greeting card and stationery company. And last month, I launched my first coloring book called Black Girls Got the Juice that I'm very excited about. And this company is probably one of the most, the one that's probably closest to my heart because it was actually the first company that I wanted to start about 10 years ago before I started the clothing brand. So I always knew I wanted to write and use my creative expression, you know, to put my thoughts out there and sell them to make money. And so at the time I had put it aside because I felt like it was too much. I was getting discouraged. I was trying to do the research and it just didn't work. And so instead of launching that business, I went with my t-shirt business and started putting my words on the shirts. So basically The Right Expressions just takes me back to the foundation of like where I wanted to be when it came to business. And, you know, for me, I've been able to still navigate and still do the things I love with social service and community work, which is what I do with DETOUR. You know, a lot of people look at me and think, you know, wow, you're like this, you know, incredible entrepreneur and you have it all figured out. But that's not really what it kind of just happened. And I will continue to say and always say that it had to been God that pushed me out to really make me go for what, you know, I wanted to do or what my desires were and my passions were. And I think that, you know, if you have faith, you know, in God or whatever type of spirituality that you have, I think it's important to always tap into that, because I would have never made it this far without having that faith in that relationship with God to guide me through it, because entrepreneurship is very hard. There's been times when, you know, I was, you know, depressed or felt like I wanted to give up. Last year, I was definitely feeling that way with a lot of things going on in my life. And then I was feeling unmotivated. I was feeling like I couldn't create anything. And, you know, I just got a different fire that was, you know, lit, you know, during the pandemic. And so I've been kind of navigating as I go through that. And I'm very appreciative of the acknowledgements that I get from people and the ability to, you know, speak to the youth and anyone else. So that's kind of really my journey and where I started and where I am now. And I'm figuring it out day by day. And I really don't have, you know, my entrepreneur life mapped out. So, you know, as we go, I learn.
Right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing. And yeah, I wish you continued success. You know, we always rooting for you in the background. Does anyone have any questions for Miss Joshlyn? Any questions? All right. So, and also, if everyone wants to, as speakers, if you want to share your social media handles too, please feel free so the girls can know where to find you. And I thank you all for being here. We have one last speaker who is amazing. And I'm so grateful that you guys, you know, spend this time with us. And, you know, this could have been an all day, you know, thing if we were not in COVID or workshops of just connecting, because a lot of things are, you know, leveraging and just networking and building those relationships. So I thank you guys again for spending the time with us and enjoying you all being here. And next up, we have Danielle, and she's going to tell you more about herself and what she does. Danielle, you ready to go?
I am.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Let me get my camera right. Just my life. Okay. So,
just
well, hello. Right. I'm definitely team education, you know, like everyone else. So we'll start there. I'm from San Diego. Like, I think the majority of the ladies here, majority of you, born and raised, I left there, went to Tuskegee University. And I pretty much stayed gone from San Diego until about 4 years ago. So I just moved back. My entrepreneur journey has kind of been a little bit of everything. I'm not really knowing what I wanted to do, but kind of knowing that I wanted to do my own business. So I did a couple MLMs. And if you guys aren't sure what those are, that's, you know, multi-level marketing. So that's, say, Avon, Mary Kay, and there's a lot of things that can fall under that. So that's a whole nother thing. But, you know, you find your own lane, and, you know, different people will tell you their journey and, you know, the things that they've done or whatnot. So I came about with social media marketing and digital marketing, just kind of helping friends and other business owners that I know, and not really on purpose, but more so they post something and maybe I text them and say, oh my God, you know, you spelled this wrong, or take that down, you know, blah, 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 whatever. And it kind of just turned into me kind of guiding and consulting. And from there, it turned into my business. So what my business is that I help small business owners with their branding, with their social media, with their digital marketing. So when I say digital, obviously that's ways to market outside of just social media. So what I'm going to talk to you guys about for the most part is knowing how to leverage social media for your business. So there's going to be a difference between your personal social media and your brand. And kind of knowing how to navigate between the two of those, especially if you haven't got to the point where you're going to create new pages for your business. So when you say, you know, when I say that, that's when you go and you create a special Instagram for your business, and, you know, the Twitter and the Facebook page and all of that. But if you're kind of just starting out and you want to just showcase your business, you really want to start being mindful of, say, the things that you post and what you're saying on social media, because if you're sending someone to your page and you want to say, look at my nails or look at my food or look at, these pictures, but then in between there, you're saying and doing inappropriate things, it can either turn people off or confuse them or things like that. So when you're ready to move into that space of operating a business and it's not a hobby anymore, and this is what I want to do, then you want to create those independent brands for your business. And they should have their own social media handles and things like that. So when you move into that space, you really want to do a couple of things. One, you want to be professional. That should be, off top. So when I say professional, that means the wording that you use. Now, let's be mindful. If your brand is kind of like Joshlyn said, if it's an urban brand, then, using urban terms and slang and things like that, it falls in line with that. But if you are, say, offering services in the legal field, then being professional and speaking and, using proper grammar and things like that are important. So you need to know your audience. So you want to be professional. And when people are, say, they have a problem with something that you did, or they didn't receive a product and they say, post about it on your social media, you want to be mindful when you're responding. So you don't want to just, respond and go off, all in the comments, because I'm sure a lot of you have screenshots of inappropriate or hilarious things on social media. I know I have a few. So you want to know that screenshots last forever. You can apologize. You can come back and issue the apology and all of that types of things that businesses do when accidents happen on social media. But if you're professional from the jump and you pause and realize that, wait a minute, this is my business page, I should not respond that way. Or better yet, I'm a professional and people know me for being a professional. So even if it is your personal page, sometimes you have to remember that, because people start knowing you for your business, for your brand, for being a professional. So the way that you carry yourself and the things that you say and do, unfortunately, you start, you're in that space. So you just want to be mindful of that as you start operating on social media, especially as a business owner, and especially, under your brand. So that's where you start getting into possibly wanting to separate, because if you want to, share things that are unrelated to your business or unprofessional, then maybe you want to have an Instagram that's locked down. It's only for your friends and family. And then you have your business or page. So these are the things that you want to think about as you start operating your business and moving in that space of social media. You want to remain on topic as you post for your business. So if you have a bakery and you're posting, say, pictures of your dog, people may be confused. Well, do you have your dog in the kitchen? Do you cook for dogs? So make sure that people can look at your page and it's on topic and it makes sense for what you do. And when I say that, another thing to think about is, where are you located, right? Are all of these things in your business profile? So when I say, on topic, when I go to your Instagram or your Facebook page or whatever you're using to promote your business, are all of those things there? Do I know that you're in San Diego and that I can either, how do I reach you? Do I DM you? Do you have a separate website? Do I call you? So think of all these things and how someone that may want to get in touch with you, answer those questions for them. Because if not, you're going to find yourself kind of running a circle around your business. Well, I went to your page, but I didn't know how to get in touch with you. Or I called you, but you didn't respond. If you want people to email you, then you should say that. Email me here to, speak out or to get in touch with me for my business. Again, you also want to say where you are, but if you operate online and you sell items, then you can give them your website. But if you do nails or you cater or you do things that are specific to San Diego, then it's very important that you put, San Diego or whatever city you're in. You want to be specific. A lot of times, people, they don't pay much attention on Instagram or on Facebook. You have a few seconds to keep their attention. So if you can answer more questions than you create, then you're going to keep them engaged. Because if I'm looking for a caterer and I have to wonder what city you're in and how to get in touch with you, even if I like your stuff, I may keep going to the next person that I can just click and boom, it goes straight to their email and I can ask for a quote. So try to keep things as helpful as possible. And you don't have to have fancy things. Again, it can just be, this is my phone number or this is my email, but you're letting people know how to get in touch with you or how to do business with you, especially on social media. Be mindful that you're gonna get people that have a problem with your business. It happens, you know, if you cook or if you say you mailed an item, you know, there was problems with the mail just recently. So maybe they didn't get their item on time and they're upset and they're, you know, emailing you or sending you, you know, whatever screenshots and, you know, however it goes. You always want to remain professional. You know, think of how you want someone to do business with you. That good old expression of treat others how you want to be treated. If you had a problem and you returned the item, say to a restaurant that missed your fries or whatever, how would you want them to respond to you? How do you want them to handle your problem? So before you, you know, maybe fly off or, you know, respond negatively, pause for a second. And sometimes maybe the customer is wrong, but you don't necessarily want to go off on them again, all in your comments and things like that. Ask them, can I respond to you in your DM, or what's your email, or can we take this offline, or, you know, however you respond, be mindful that people are watching. Potential customers are watching. So the things that you say or how you say them can very well be interpreted the wrong way and or make you lose business or, you know, gain certain reputations. So with anything, and especially with social media, as you start moving into that business owner space and you start representing yourself online, you want to be mindful of the things that you're doing and saying. And, you know, it's just important in that space. Does anyone have any questions? Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Are y'all still alive out there?
Right? I'm like,
okay.
Drop a one in the chat if you're still present. And
yes,
right.
Okay, I see
So
thumbs up. I see thumbs up. I know y'all. I know. I was like, this
Rashida?
this is it's like, it's such good information too, you know, and it's hard. So that's why we wanted to keep it not as formal, you know, because we're on here for a while, but this is so great. And thank you guys. Thank you for the thumbs up, Naya, but I appreciate you being here. It's just really important. And this is just a part of doing the work, you know, because entrepreneurship, you got to commit to it. And sometimes, hey, we got to take 2 hours out on the evening on our Fridays to just get some tips and tools, because, you know, you don't know the type of what you're going to take away or a relationship that you may build, you know, from being here today. So we're very thankful, and it's about sacrifice. Entrepreneurship is about sacrifice, and, you know, you keep, you know, 10 toes down on the ground, and you're going to continue to move forward. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. So, well, I just wanted to piggyback. It's funny because what you said, and when you were saying it earlier, I was like, you know, obviously I didn't want to get all in the comments with this, but when you were talking about not, you know, being able to do everything as an entrepreneur. So the next step for me in my business, I was accepted into an accelerator program, but the point of it is to kind of help me scale. So moving from that solopreneur space where you only have so many hours in the day. I do work, and I have another business. I have an e-commerce business called For My Fellas. That's a store dedicated to just little boys. So kind of how Justice is for little girls, it's for little boys, because I'm a boy mom and we don't have anything cute. So I just want to make something.
Yes, that's a niche. See, that's her niche right there with that, y'all. She figured out something and she solved a problem, because that's another thing with your business. What problem are you solving? Because that's how people are going to mess with you, and you're going to get your coins. You know, you don't get your coins by solving many people's problems, because people will pay for convenience. Like, I'm guilty of it. I pay for convenience. Like, if something is resolving an issue, oh, I'm gonna break bread. I'm gonna break bread, and it's nothing, because it's assisting me. You know, so you find that niche and you do that. That's wonderful, Danielle, because I'm a boy mom. I have a little girl now, but I was a boy mom. You know, and it's true. Like, the boys' clothes, they section be this much, and the little girls, they got whole stores and they got the whole wall. You know, so yeah.
Are they still calling it coins, or is it called a bag now?
Oh, listen. Well, I'm old school, and I'm
gonna
say,
you
I'm
gotta
gonna
put
get
the coins in the bag. You know what I mean? You can't have a bag with no coins. I mean, you got to have the clothing, the coins, the dollars, all that.
Yes,
all of that.
So yeah, thank you guys so much. And Ivy says, thank you so much. I learned all about starting a business and getting better. These really inspired me not to give up. And that's exactly what was our purpose, Ivy. I'm always happy to see other people like me in business and hearing their story about how they started. Thank you so much, because that's the whole purpose of it. It's just gathering, having a safe space, and holding space for one another. to know, because a lot of times too, and this is a generational thing, but I won't start going here. It's like we're taught to just be quiet about stuff and just keep going or not say nothing. But no, we have to share these stories so that you can learn and not repeat the same mistakes that someone else may have experienced, you know? So I want to encourage you all to please apply for our little mini grant. You know, this is a great start. Like I say, $250 goes a long way in starting your business, going towards your business, you know, and we have 10 of those available. So please apply, and connect with us, because there's lots of other things and entities in the community that support you starting a business, and you just have to be willing and take the time to utilize the resources that are available. And especially now, the time is now. There's no better time than now. So stay committed to what you want to do, have your vision, and trust and believe and know that it's going to happen.
Yeah, and there's no better person than you, right? Because we all have a business inside of us. And so it's your job to figure out what that business is. I'm like some of the speakers earlier. I knew I was going to be an entrepreneur at an early age. I had my first business in the 5th grade called Discount Teas, and we were reselling our old stuff at home that we didn't want. So I had a whole staff and records and all of that stuff in the 5th grade. So I knew that this was going to be what I was going to do. What I will say is, don't feel like you can't still give back in the process. We're here on the platform of DETOUR Empowers, which is a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and we are still a business. So business can also be, you know, nonprofit and also make money through the services that they provide to the community. So don't leave that out. I'm also born and raised from Southeastern San Diego and wanted to do something positive for girls in my community, because I felt like every time a conversation would come up about Southeast, we weren't represented in a positive light. And I got sick of that, and I wanted to change that. And so that's exactly what I did. I started right in my community, and I changed that. And the program started with my younger foster sisters. My mom has been a foster parent for over 30 years. And so what I was doing with them already, I took it to the neighborhood and started working with the girls right at the rec center. Just like Rashida said, we had our first expo at Skyline Rec. We were doing workshops at Skyline Rec. And so I didn't have any money to get started, but I had a vision. And that's all that you need in order to get started, is a vision. The first expo that we put on, I only spent $100, and I got everything else donated. I ended up getting, $1,000 donated. I gave away $800 in scholarships, spent $100, and then I probably spent about $200, honestly, with shirts and brochures and all that kind of junk, gift cards. So, you know, you literally don't have to have much to get started. Don't feel like, oh, I have to have this and I have to have that and it's got to be perfect. No, because the expo that you'll go to today will be way different than the expo that you saw 10 years ago. So start with what you have, where you are right now, and just move forward with that.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And
and thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. I'm like,
talk to us about what they've learned today. Drop what you learned in the chat, or come off your mic and talk to us about what you learned.
Yes, because one thing I want to say, we managed our time good, and we're wrapping up on time. So I'm really happy about that. Thank you again to our speakers, and thank you for the ladies joining us. A couple of things in the chat where, the information was very useful. And she said, I'm happy to see other people like me in business and hearing their story and how they started. Did anyone want to share out and speak before we sign off? So also remember to put your email.
Rashida, you can't ask them and then start talking. You got to give space for the people.
Well, they move fast. Did they say?
Can you hear me?
I didn't hear nothing. Oh, yeah, I didn't hear nothing.
Yeah, you can. Okay.
Oh, now I didn't hear nothing.
like I said, I want to say I'm always happy to see other people like that look like me and starting their business because it's like it inspires me. And this actually helps me because I never really I always talked about it, but like I don't know if I was really ready because I was scared like I would give up easily because I'm that type of person that gives up easily on things sometimes. So I just want to say like thank you. Your stories like helped me, and I hope that when I do start it, that it actually goes well and that and everything. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
And
you're
remember
welcome.
though, even if it doesn't go well, you start it. And that's what matters. And don't let that stop you. So if you start it and it doesn't go well, keep pushing forward. Okay.
Right. Because you'll
I'd
be
like to
learning.
say something.
Yes.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
For the age group that I'm in, I'm barely starting off with doing my own business. And I know one of the speakers had mentioned how, the parents were old school, saying that you need, get a job, get the benefits, that's all you need to do. So I was never pushed as a child to like think outside the box and create your own thing. And I've always had a creative mind. I was always doing some of everything because my mind is always racing. I'm always having tons of ideas in my head. And now that I'm older and I'm learning about, starting your own business and doing for yourself and working for yourself. And I think that this is a great platform that you guys have started this so that the younger generation can see that, yes, you can do this. You don't have to go the traditional way.
Mm-hmm.
And, I went to college and I got my degree, and that, of course, that's a great thing. But you know what? If you can make it as an entrepreneur and start off running like that, go ahead and do that too. So I think this is a great platform, and I'm glad that you guys are here to provide this for our younger generation.
Yes, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for those words. Thank you for those words. Yeah. All right, everyone. So that concludes our night for this special edition of Fancy Fridays. Get those applications in, and even if you're not eligible, please, reach out and we can get you connected to some great resources. Excuse me.
Uh-oh.
Excuse me. I know. I'm sitting. I got some flowers, and I'm sitting a little bit too close to them. So yeah, excuse me, but thank you for the blessings. But we can maybe identify some other resources and financial support that may be available for you all. All right.
Yes.
So thank you.
All right. So we'll see you guys at the next Fancy Friday.
Yes, and I'm glad you guys enjoyed the speakers. Everyone have a great weekend. Continue to stay safe. Listen, because this COVID stuff is getting real, y'all, and it's getting real close to home. So please stay safe, wash your hands. Just stay in the past. Wear your mask, stay in the house if it's really not essential, and try not to don't gather with people. Please take it. Yes. We got it. It's really impacting us. So thank you guys.
Thank you guys for joining us. Jasmine,
have a nice
out with the music.
I know.
Bye. Thank you guys.
Our DJ.
Bye.
Our DJ.
Thank you. Have a great weekend.